Hello viewers, this is Revealing Light Tarot. Tonight I wanted to look at how Avenatti will influence, or how he will impact, I guess is the right word, impact on the FBI investigation into the accusations against Kavanaugh for sexual misconduct and sexual assault. When I started this reading, I got the image of Kavanaugh on the horse picking up the sword. He's quite capable and at home with going into battle. And he has the images I got was he's very much put women on a pedestal in a good way. And he is quite happy to go into battle to keep them there. And he's also, as I said, weaponised the media in a way to do this, to do battle. And he's very comfortable getting down in the dirt, and sifting through the dirt to actually get the evidence. He was instrumental in I think pushing the Cohen evidence forward to Mueller, almost sort of uncovering the fact that Cohen was almost a bag man for Donald Trump. So he's sort of like running alongside the investigations. He's almost like a check and a balance. So if that's the case, is he going to play a similar role in this? He's got some bombshell evidence to release in the next day or so. Let's see, how will Michael Avenatti impact? Very much here, the right time in the right place. That was the opening phrase that I got. Michael Avenatti is here in the right time and the right place to do what he's doing, which makes him reasonably powerful. So, what impact will Michael Avenatti have on the FBI investigation and the Kavanaugh nomination? Avenatti, Kavanaugh nomination. Okay. All right. So our first card is the King of Pentacles. So the King of Pentacles is, about creating understanding. And this is in one way, I think, Avenatti's role is to create greater understanding. And in, he brings the information forward to create that better understanding of the situation. So, and he's quite successful at doing that. I actually think this is him there. He's successful at bringing that information forward for people to get a greater understanding of what is actually happening in the situation, sort of almost like a practical understanding for the average everyday person in the street. They can understand what's happening because of the work that he's doing. He sort of brings it to the level of the everyday person, which is, I guess, another reason why he's so popular. So he's very well versed at uncovering secrets, and this is again another role this is the same sort of role that he will play in the Kavanaugh nomination. He will, expose secrets. He will expose, I guess, the Republican need to sort of bully their way through, and also for Kavanaugh, he'll expose the bullying and the abuse, the alleged abuse. He's going to have more information to bring to bear on that. And what this is creating, and what it's going to lead to in the future is the grief and the anxiety that we see so often the Kavanaugh nomination. I mean, this really is the dark night of the soul for Kavanaugh, and it's going to contribute, I think, to the nomination process not being successful. I really don't think it will be successful. As I said before, he's sort of run parallel with FBI investigations and state investigations, almost like a check and a balance. And he's going to be doing the same thing because of the extra information that he's bringing forward. Let's have a look. So he's always played that role in the past. I'm just going to deepen this reading to see if we can get a better understanding of Avenatti. So again, I think I shared with you when I opened this reading, I very much got an image of this of this woman here. Now, the Nine of Pentacles is self-sufficiency and and going solo, and being having the talents to actually, to independently go forward. And this is what I think he does for women. This is his thing. He's got this thing there where he wants to, put women forward and allow them to express themselves and at the same time protect them. There is that thing that's consistent with him. I mean, why else would he have represented, apart from the fact that, the Stormy Daniels, a lot of lawyers would have steered right away from that. He has been called the creepy porn lawyer, but none of that has worried him. It hasn't worried him because fixed in his mind is this thing to protect women. Quite interesting. That's a real motivator for him. And so at the present, he's very successful and has been very successful in exposing these secrets and this bullying and this abuse that we're seeing or that's being alleged. He's been successful and he will. This card is sort of in the present situation and it looks like he will continue to be successful in doing that. So I think he's going to be quite impactful over the next week or so. And, as I said, he's bringing forward this strength. He's bringing forward the strength himself. He's not afraid to pick the swords up. That's the image I got. He's not afraid to pick the sword up as he goes into battle. I saw him picking a sword up as he was going into battle, and that is a strength. But at the same time, what he's doing is he's empowering, I guess, empowering women he's empowering the strength of women. It's quite an interesting situation. I'm waiting for something, like he would appear a little bit ego-driven, and I'm waiting for a card to show that. But does that matter? He's got to. As I said, he's weaponized the media to his advantage, and he's ambitious as well because he's thinking he might have a run in 2020. I'm waiting for some of those cards to come. Look. Is he going to put a foot wrong? Because this is deepening these cards here. What's that telling us? I might come back to that, but it might be saying, because I drew that card around the time that I was talking about his 2020 run. It might be saying that by the time we get to 2020. He's probably not going to, maybe not bring forward that nomination in some way. I don't know. It's a long time between now and then, isn't it? We might clarify that card. But look, at the moment, he's forcing a transition, a moving forward of, of this, I guess, situation where we've got a SCOTUS nomination process, or a SCOTUS nominee who's actually got this, under a massive cloud. He's actually, where we look at his abuse, he's exposing the abuse. It's actually successful, and he's going to force a moving on. He is going to have an impact in all of this. So it'll be interesting to see what that bombshell information that he's got. And look, the Eight of Pentacles. He's going to have an impact. This is about leaving a mark, leaving a legacy, his work will actually have an impact. I mean, that was the thing that I was talking about when I drew this card, and it's in the future position. So we've got the Dark Night of the Soul for the Republicans, I guess for Kavanaugh. We've got the Strength coming forward of the women, and indeed of Kavanaugh himself, and that's going to leave a legacy for, I guess, for the USA and also for the world more generally, because the world is watching this process quite intently. But look, okay. I'm getting this Tower card now. It's in the past position. Okay, so that's him there. That's Avenatti there. Very capable, very I guess working toward increasing understanding of situations. Here is this woman's situation, that the women that I think he has this deep-seated belief that women need to be to be elevated. They need to be elevated, and he's going to help them be elevated, and at the same time protect them. And it seems to me this has been because this is a past situation. Okay, so that's what's sort of giving me some insight here. It seems that there's been a past situation where, I mean, the Tower is about change that's not welcome or wanted. And it can be upheaval and, of course, chaos. There has been some situation in the past that has led to him, a very strong situation in his past that has impacted on his need there to protect women. Now, I think I remember reading somewhere that, and I can't be sure because I've read quite a lot about Avenatti, but I think there's been a situation in the past where he's had someone, a member of his family, come into to grief. Well, if that's what has happened, or he may have been raised, as in a household where he was sort of the male that had to step up to protect women. And how that's come about, I don't know, but it's been quite deep-seated. It's caused quite a deep-seated belief that he needs to protect women. So, okay, all right. So, what do we need to know about this Tower card? Let's just have a look. I just want to clarify it. Did the upheaval cause Avenatti to develop a particular drive to help women step forward, step up and protect them? What do we need to know about the Tower card? Okay, let's see. Okay, he had to battle in some way. He had to battle at the time that this occurred, this situation occurred. He was forced into a protector role, okay? and he had to defend in some way. He had to defend. So this is where all this stuff comes from with Avenatti. It's arisen out of trauma, or not trauma, but it's arisen out of a bad situation, and he's had to learn to defend and protect. So that's interesting. Okay, we'll just clarify up here. Will this 10 of Swords, will the bombshell information that Avenatti is bringing out assist the withdrawal of the Kavanaugh nomination, or will it contribute in any way? How will it contribute to the Kavanaugh nomination going forward? Okay, so I'm getting an image of doors being slammed. I'm assuming that that's doors slammed on Kavanaugh, but let's see, how will it contribute, this bombshell information? The Four of Pentacles. Okay, so long-term security. Holding on to the money. Okay, so maybe this information that he's bringing forward has something to do with money. Holding on to the money, long-term security, fear of change. Okay, this card may be pointing to some information that he's going to bring out on Kavanaugh that has to do with money in the past. Okay. Holding on to the money. Holding on to the money. Okay. I won't go any further other than to say that this new information may have something to do with money in the past, Kavanaugh and money in the past, or Kavanaugh even increasing his security. Anyway, there's a connection with money here, Kavanaugh and money. That's, to me, I asked what information would Avenatti be bringing out, and which would contribute to the SCOTUS nomination withdrawal or impact on the SCOTUS nomination, and we've gotten this. So, okay, that's interesting. Shall we? I don't know how long this video will be, because I really wanted to have a look at Flake and Graham, because they were two of the key people in the Blasey Ford and Kavanaugh Senate judiciary hearings. One way or another, I mean, Graham said how pleased he was that Melania congratulated him for the way that he, shouted and conducted himself. So thank you for, oh God. I mean, they're delusional, aren't they? And Flake, of course, was instrumental. We wanted Flake to be the hero, didn't we? And he kind of met us halfway. Had he not said, I want an FBI hearing, and I won't vote until we've got that, that's the condition. He was under tremendous pressure. There's no two ways about that. My God. It was weighing on him, but then joined the club. join the club. It was weighing on everybody else there, and particularly Professor Ford. However, let's have a look. What's going on? What's happening with Flake at the moment? What did that stand mean for him? What does it cost him? Why did he do it? Jeff Flake. Okay. Jeff Flake, why did he do it? Yeah, look, I think he had to do it. I think he felt he had to do it. I don't think this was grandstanding. I think this came from a place where he could not do anything else. He couldn't do it. So what does it mean for Jeff Flake? Yeah, interesting to see what his future will be. Okay, so we've got our first card is the Star, and what Jeff Flake has done is he's brought hope. He's brought hope forward in a situation that didn't look like it had much hope at all. That's what he's done. He's opened up hope. Okay. So he really is, like, he's tapped into that emotion, and I think it's been quite an emotional time for him too, but he's been very aware of the emotion. He was confronted in the lift by a rape victim and survivor, and that emotion, the whole hearing and that. He couldn't ignore that. He could not ignore the emotion. So he had to become this. He really did. He had to be the reliable person in the room that would make sure that there was at least some FBI investigation. So the emotion affected him and affected his decisions. So the Seven of Cups... what he's exposed himself to now is abuse, from within his own party. They're going to say you weren't committed to the party. You opened up. You instead of allowing us to drive the nomination forward, you've opened up multiple avenues now for things to get worse. You've created issues here. So his own party are really going to give it to him in some way or another. It could even be Donald Trump. I think if you look at his face, he was aware of that. He absolutely was aware of that. Now, the Emperor, one of the reasons that he wanted to do this is, I guess, he respected the testimony, but he also has respect for those traditions. He has respect for the Supreme Court, the tradition of the Supreme Court, the tradition of the Senate. He has respect for traditional ways of senators coming together and accomplishing things. So that led him in another way, the emotion and that respect for the traditions and for, a respect for the rule of law, led him to do what he did. And where has it left Jeff Flake in the future? Okay, the Three of Rods. So it looks as though he will be considering his options in the future. So, I always thought that Flake might have a go at the Republican nomination for president at some point in the future. That's what I thought he might do. He will definitely be considering his options and considering all ideas and expansion as well. He'll be considering building upon whatever his position is in the future. Now he's written a book, I think, so I mean, in a way, he had a place. Was a historical moment, and will be, and he took, as part of all of those proceedings, he took a place in that, an instrumental place. So, are we likely to see Jeff Flake as a presidential Republican candidate in the future, perhaps? I mean, his own party they really don't like him. I mean, literally his head's on the platter. You can see the head there coming out of the cup, and there's all this around him. Gee. So, yeah, look, he's not in a good place, but he will be considering his options, and there is expansion there. So we likely to see him in some kind of... Is he going to have a run as a Republican presidential nominee? What's he likely to do? What does this all mean for his future? Because he's retiring from the Senate, because Trump won't endorse him, so he's, being critical of Trump. What does this mean for Flake? Will he be part of the rebuilding of the Republican Party a long time down the track? Will he be part of those rebuilding efforts? Wow. Yes, I think that's where it's going. Yeah. Okay, so, I mean, the Empress is the... it's the mother card, it's the parenting, it's the female parent, pardon me, and it's also abundance. So just mirroring his what he's thinking about and what might happen in the future. Whatever he's going to do, it's going to be quite good. It's going to be quite good for him in the future. And look, I mean, this is the card of the mother. This is the female card. So, for him, even though his head's on the platter at the moment with his own party, and I mean, this is quite, God knows what there might be more coming out about what they might do with him, but ultimately, it's actually going to be a good thing for him to have done what he did. Okay, so that's Flake. Now, I just want to have a look at Graham. I mean, honestly, God. I'm sorry if this is a long video, but look, it's just, these are really important times, and me, like you, and everybody else has been glued to the screen watching it. I mean, hopefully we can get on to more readings and I want to work through the questions as well. I want to take a look at, I won't go into detail, but I want to look at China and Russia and the Cold War there, because it is a Cold War now with China. But anyway, and I also want to look at Putin, but that's because I think he's struggling there as well. So he's financially having big financial problems and problems hanging on to his power base. So with the oligarchs. But anyway, we'll look at those in future readings. Let's just tune in to Lindsey Graham. Okay. Oh, God, what a disappointment he is. Lindsey Graham. Guy's gone from night, he prosecuted rape cases in the Navy. He's gone from that to saying, how he's Trump's confidant and how great it was to have Melania say what she said. Okay, good on you, Lindsey. Lindsey Graham. What's this going to mean for Lindsey Graham? Ending. Okay, I saw the what's it called? The sign. That image of the Grim Reaper. Okay, so really that's going to end his career. He thinks it actually is going to help it, it's going to end it. So what will this mean? What will this outburst mean for Lindsey Graham? He's quite pleased with himself on one level, but on another, deep down, you often see him looking, I think he understands that, okay. So the Nine of Swords, what does this mean for Lindsey Graham? And this is our signifier card. Nightmares, anxiety, grief, depression, okay? It's not going to be a good thing for him. What he's done, his outburst, is causing him some sleepless nights now. I think he understands that what he did was a step too far. And the Queen of Rods, so, he used to be quite self-assured in the past, quite confident. This is him now. He's throwing his lot in with Trump and co. That's him now. Should he have done that? Nah. Okay, the Two of Rods. So, he's waiting for results and making choices and planning ahead. But, yeah. Okay, so the Seven of Rods. So, of course, he's now having to self-defend. Defend himself, and protect himself against his critics. But also, I'll go a step further and say that it actually was not very strategic to do what he did, and as a result, he's actually going to have some competition. That anger display, if he wants Jeff Sessions' job, I mean, would you like to see the Attorney General conduct themselves in the way that Lindsey Graham conducted himself? Loss of control and anger after Professor Blasey Ford's testimony? Yeah. Okay, so something's going to be taken away from him. And, I think it's his ambition to be Attorney General. It's not going to be fulfilled. I mean, the cup's been taken away. He's having it taken away from him. So he really will be considering his options in the future. He will be having to make choices. This is grief, anxiety, keeping him up at night. He knew that suspected that what he did was not the right way to do things. He's had to defend himself. Whatever he was hoping for is going to be taken away from him. Let's just mirror this Two of Rods in the future where he's making choices considering his future. Will he be leaving politics? Yep, he most certainly will be. He'll be forced out in some way. This is a necessary transition. So, yeah, he might be considering his choices, but in the end, he will be moving on. So, yeah, not a good choice to do what he did at the hearing. We just saw angry men, and those images are going to stay with us for a long time. And, as a result, something will be taken away from him in the future. Could even be his Senate spot, and he'll have to consider choices. It could be whatever he was promised, but he'll be considering his future, making his choices, and then really forced to move on. So they're huge readings tonight. I'm glad you stayed with me, if you did stay with me right through the whole reading at 34 minutes. But this is Revealing Light Tarot, and I hope you enjoyed the readings. Good night.